What's up, guys? My name's Andrew, and this is my first posting on my new YouTube channel known as the Cowboys Corner. So what this is going to be about is all about my beloved Dallas Cowboys. Each week after every game, I'm going to get on here a day or so later and talk about the previous game. What I liked, what I didn't like, who played well, who I think needs to step up, and I'll sprinkle in some other NFL notes and news throughout the videos. But like I said, this is my first posting, so bear with me. Hopefully I'll get better as time goes along. So if you hear a lot of uhs and pauses, just like I said, bear with me. So luckily I was able to be in D.C. for the Cowboys game this Sunday. I live in North Carolina, unfortunately, and so I'm not able to catch a lot of Cowboys games live. But luckily, I was able to make the drive up to D.C. and see him play the Skins this past Sunday. And, we won, but I think all of us Cowboys fans can agree it was ugly. It was not a pretty win at all. But at the same time, I think we needed that. We had only beat Seattle by 10, but throughout the game, no one even thought that we'd lose. And then we just ran all over Buffalo. And even against Philly, even though we lost, the game was not even close, unfortunately. So we needed a close game. But there are some things that we definitely need to work on before we play the Dolphins Thanksgiving Day. First off, I want to talk about the special teams. Now, our special teams has been solid all year. But for some reason against the Redskins, they look terrible. And I don't know what it was. Outside of Dan Bailey, our special teams was horrendous. I mean, Matt McBriar getting a 23-yard punt. In my opinion, he's the best punter in the league. And he goes and kicks a 23-yarder. I mean, I know he's still recovering from the whole injury, drop foot, whatever it was. I don't really understand it. And I know as a punter, dropping down on that foot, that's got to hurt. And so I know he's still recovering. But still, a 23-yard punt, and you're getting paid to do that? I mean, it's bad enough when I see college players shaking punts. But if you're in the NFL, you should not shake a punt. And then we let the Redskins return game dominate us on both punts and kickoffs. And I haven't seen that all year from our Cowboys. Usually on kickoffs, guys like Jesse Holley, Danny McCray, Barry Church, they're swarming the ball. And except for just a couple times here or there, we didn't do that Sunday. And I don't know what it was. Luckily, McBriar made a touchdown saving tackle on one punt. And Bruce Carter made a huge tackle, shaking off the blocker and making the tackle on a kickoff. So luckily, we didn't let him score on a punt or kickoff return, but they still got way too many yards on the returns and had great field position. And Rex Grossman's a terrible quarterback. And so we want him having to drive 75, 80 yards for a touchdown, not 45 or 50. So that's the first thing that really irritated me about this game. Second thing was our secondary. They didn't play horrible. And I don't know if part of this is Rob Ryan and the coverages he was calling. I'm assuming it is. But on 3rd and long, we were leaving the middle of the field wide open. The Redskins were able to take advantage of us across the middle of the field, time in and time out. We'd get them in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 10, 2nd and long situations, and let, in my opinion, a horrible quarterback in Rex Grossman convert it. Our defense made Rex Grossman look amazing. This is the best I've ever seen him look. Even when he took the Bears to the Super Bowl, he didn't look this good. And so I don't understand why our safeties were playing so far deep. Sensabaugh and Elam And I know it's not them. Like I said, I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's the coverages that Rob Ryan was calling. But when you have Rex, I mean, if there was Drew Brees or Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback, I can see playing deep because you want to prevent the deep ball. But with a guy like Rex Grossman, I want to blitz all day. And it seemed like numerous times we were showing blitz and we pulled out. If you get pressure on Rex Grossman, he's going to make a mistake. Like he did late in the game when Orlando Scandrick picked off a pass. We got pressure on him. He made a mistake. We got an interception. So that's the second thing that really bothered me. And the third and last thing was the offensive line. Our offensive line played the best game of the season against Buffalo. And then they turn around and don't even show up against Washington. We let the ex-Cowboy Stephen Bowen get 2 sacks. I wish he had done that with us. I mean, he's a good player, but that's unacceptable. We let Ryan Kerrigan rush the end time and time again, and Romo scrambled for his life. And Romo played great considering the fact that he had no protection. I mean, it was not even a second and a half of protection, and he had London Fletcher or Kerrigan or Bowen or somebody in his face. So it was, and you know, we gave Doug Free this huge signing bonus during the offseason, and he has not lived up to expectations. I told somebody the other day, I said, you know, he's becoming the next Flozell Adams. And, you know, getting holding penalties every game, false starts every game. So I don't know what his problem is. It's like he's gotten paid, so he don't care anymore. I don't know. But our offensive line, except for Kozar, played all right. Tyron Smith played all right. Free, no. Costa, I'm still not sold on him as center. He can't snap the ball one bit in shotgun. So the O-line was definitely a problem for us on Sunday. But with that said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the positives now. Obviously, the kicking game. That's the one part of our special teams that was really good. And it's been that way all year. Dan Bailey hasn't missed a field goal since week 2 against the 49ers when he shanked one. And he beat the Redskins the first time we played them, and he beat them again this game. And, I tell you, watching that game in person, we were kind of up in the corner at an angle. So it was hard to see if that overtime field goal was good. When Graham Gano kicked his in overtime, I thought it was good. Luckily, it wasn't. When Dan Bailey kicked his, I thought he missed it. Luckily, I was wrong. So the kicking game was great. And Mr. Automatic Dan Bailey himself has been clutch for us time and time again this entire season. He's one of the few sure things on this team. The second positive about the Cowboys Skins game this past Sunday, in my opinion, was the passing game. Like I said, and it wasn't Romo's best game. He played much better against Buffalo, but he didn't throw an interception. He didn't make any dumb mistakes. And then again, with the O-line giving him no time to pass the ball, he made plays. He made a number of plays, scrambling, avoiding the sack, rolling out of the pocket. I know his pass to LaRon Robinson was amazing, where he avoided the sack twice, spun around, and then found Robinson in the end zone, and he threaded the needle. So Romo played really good, and it's been that way. You know, the past, I think 3 weeks, he's had 8 touchdown passes and 0 interceptions. And in the past 4 weeks, 11 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. I think I'm right. But, in the last positive, Martellus Bennett. Where's this guy been all year? Where's this guy who catches a one hand, stops on a dime, reaches out with one hand and catches a tip ball? Where's this guy been all year? You know, I've been so hard on Bennett. You know, he's a freak athlete. He's an athlete, probably one of the most athletic guys on the team, but he doesn't show up in games. And so for him to show up, I was shocked. Honestly, when we cut to Shard Choice, I felt like either cut Choice or Bennett. Those were the two. If we had to cut somebody, we cut. And so, if I don't know if this is a one-game hit. Hopefully not. Hopefully Bennett can keep this going. I think this. He even said this was a much-needed game. So hopefully he can keep it going. But that was great. And so now I'm going to talk about game balls. I'm going to hand out 4 game balls. Number 1, Romo. Like I said, he was able to avoid pressure all day long. Didn't make any stupid mistakes. Didn't make any dumb throws. And he played pretty solid. Second game ball, Barry Church. This guy, when he was in the game, was making plays left and right all over the field. In the first quarter, when Grossman fumbled, he picked it up and ran to the 1-yard line. I still don't know if that was a good call or not, reversing the call. I'm not going to say it was. I'm not going to say it wasn't. The replay I saw, I couldn't tell. So, but Church made a number of plays, and he played by far the best game of the season he's had so far. Number 3, Orlando Scandrick. He got an interception. He made a number of other plays. Like I said, the D-backs left the middle of the field wide open a number of times. But Scandrick, he played pretty good filling in for an injured Mike Jenkins. And I honestly feel like Jenkins and Scandrick, either one could be the starter on this team. They're both, in my opinion, solid. They're both playing much better this year than they were last season. So Scandrick gets the 3rd game ball. And then last but not least, Dan Bailey. Hasn't missed a field goal since week 2. Won the game for us again. He's clutch, Mr. Automatic, whatever you want to call him. Dan the man. But Dan Bailey gets the 4th game ball. So last but not least, I'm going to give you my NFC playoff predictions. Packers, they're 10-0 right now. They're going to be the number 1 seed. 49ers will be the number 2 seed. Their only loss coming to the Cowboys. And playing in the NFC West, they've already locked up, the division. So they'll be the number 2 seed, sitting here at 9-1. Number 3, I'm going to go ahead and give it to the Cowboys. I think it could be either the Cowboys or the Saints. I think either one could get the number 3 seed. But the Cowboys play the Dolphins next, and the Dolphins are playing great. They've won 3 straight, but at the same time, it's Thanksgiving. Dallas rarely loses on Thanksgiving. And then we turn around and play an Arizona team, and down the road we have a Tampa Bay team that's really struggling. So I'm going to give them the number 3 seed nod to the Cowboys. Number 4 then would be the Saints. And the 2 wild card spots, I'm going to have to give some love to the NFC North and give it to the Bears. I think are going to get the 5th seed, even though Jay Cutler's out. He's injured. And we don't know when he'll come back. The Bears faithful are hoping, before the end of the season. I doubt I think he's done until the playoffs. But Matt Forte, in my opinion, is the best back in the league right now, except for maybe Fred Jackson. Forte is 1 or 2. And then, I think Caleb Haney can fill in nicely. I think he's going to do a solid job in that defense. I mean, anytime you have Brian Urlacher, anchoring your defense, it's a solid defense. And then the Lions, they're getting the 6th seed. They've kind of struggled. They beat the Panthers Sunday, albeit it was an ugly win. And they've struggled. And I don't think they will beat the Packers on Thanksgiving. But I think that they're going to get – they're a good team. Stafford, staying healthy. He's a great young quarterback. And Ndamukong Suh, Cliff Averill, the rest of that defense, they're in my opinion, one of the best defenses in the league. So they're going to get the number 6 spot. So with that said, hopefully you're still watching, hopefully you haven't got bored and turned it to something else yet. So feel free to leave comments, suggestions, things you think I need to work on. Like I said, this is my first video, and I plan on making videos throughout the season, after each game, after each Cowboys victory, hopefully. But feel free to leave comments. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to argue with me. I'll try to check back in on the page, hopefully every day to see what you guys are saying. And follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle you'll see down below the video. So follow me and go Cowboys. Thanks, guys.